This is quite literally the smallest layout that I've ever seen. It's really neat having something like this pre-built. Hi guys, this is Marlin here at Hearns, and I just wanted to show you a new and exciting product that we've received from Tsugawa, or TGW, from Japan. This is a really tiny micro layout, the size of an A4 paper. So let's have a closer look and see what we get inside the box. Now this is what TGW describes as a basic type A4 layout. And just to demonstrate how small this is, I have an A4 sheet of paper right here, and it completely covers this thing. So it is a very small unit. And let's just have a look and see exactly how this works. So I'll lift it up, and you've got your directional control, forward and reverse on the front, and your throttle control. On the side, you've got your on and off switch, and your power input. So this uses a micro USB style or a phone charger style connection. So you can use, say, like a phone charger or a battery bank to power this. And the power requirements for something like this are very minimal. In fact, if you were to use a power bank, you could obscure it in this recessed area underneath. That way it wouldn't be seen. And there's actually a plug-in point just here. So you can fully obscure whatever your power supply is if you choose to use battery power on this, which is really nice. You've got some nice durable rubber feet to keep it steady, and it has a pretty good weight to it, despite it being so small. So what's really neat about this is you get a fixed radius of track. It's all laid. There's no need to add anything to it, but it is a removable base plate. So if you wanted to scenic this, or add some details or buildings or structures or what have you, you could simply buy a replacement unit of this, which you would have available, and you could just remove this and then pop the new unit on, and it uses magnets to stay in place. It's a very strong connection. It actually takes quite a lot of effort to pull it from the base, so there's no risk of this falling off if you decide to tip it upside down. Just removing it again, you can see that the power comes through on these points here and just connects to the track there. And just pop it back on. So overall, very simple, very neat product. We're going to run a few different locomotives, some from TGW and some from a few other brands, just to see what kind of equipment you can get over such a tight radius. This is quite literally the smallest layout that I've ever seen. It's really neat having something like this pre-built. In fact, it's not the smallest, it's the second smallest, because we're going to be having a closer look at an even smaller layout from TGW. This one they call the Handy. It's about the size of like an old audio cassette tape case, significantly smaller than like a smartphone or your wallet even. This is quite literally something that you could put into your pocket, and it weighs very little. So this is very small, but in context, this thing is microscopic. And we'll have a closer look too and see what kind of equipment we can get around this. But we'll have a look and see what makes this unique. We've got our on and off switch on the front. Well, this is actually our directional control. On and off is here. It also works as the throttle. So you've got reverse, neutral, and forward. And again, the base plate is magnetized, so you literally just pull this off and pop it back on. To power this, you need 3 AA batteries. You can use rechargeables, or you can just use the disposable type. And then you have your mechanism and circuitry for the throttle and for the switches. And I also noticed that there was a recessed area up here, and I'm pretty certain that the purpose of this is that you can actually put a small TGW locomotive inside and close the lid. So now you have a small portable layout that you can literally fit in your pocket, and you could take this and run your train anywhere you wanted. So let's go into it. Let's have a look and see what these things perform like. Now we have our little A4 layout hooked up to a power supply. I'm just using a rechargeable battery pack just plugged into the side. So I've got power on, and I just wanted to run a few different locomotives and various things to just see what we can make work on this small package here. So the first thing I'm going to put on here is a little 040 couple steam engine. This is a TGW locomotive. very tiny. This is probably the smallest functional locomotive I've ever seen. Definitely the smallest one that we have here in the shop. So, and it's designed for something like this. So I'll put that on the track, give it a bit of throttle, make sure it's on. There we go. Make sure your power supply is also turned on. And that's running it in reverse. I'll see if I can slow it down. It's a very light locomotive, so crawling speed running is a bit of a challenge, unless you were to add more weight to this or have a few carriages behind it. Let's change the other direction. There we go. Ah, there we go, that's much better. After a few minutes of warming up and breaking the locomotive in, it will smooth out. But so far, pretty satisfactory. Gets around those curves really nice. So why don't we take that off and we'll try another locomotive. And this is another small TGW. This is a diesel locomotive. So we'll pop that on. Really nice color scheme and a lot of detail on that one. So we'll pop that on. There we go. It's running much smoother, and we'll just slow this down. They're really nice. Okay. I think the next thing we should definitely do is one of the food sample series that TGW has produced, the sushi train. So we've got a nice piece of sushi here. It's got some garnishes, you've got some chive. Let's open this up. Looks good enough to eat. And underneath we've got a mechanism similar to the other locomotives we've just run, so let's put it on and see what happens. Well, there you go. The extra weight from the sushi actually helps the motor, the chassis to run much smoother. Quite literally a sushi train. There we go. I've got an N-scale Kato tram. So this has a longer wheelbase than the other units that we've run so far. So let's see how this goes. Oh, very smooth. That runs exceptionally smooth with that mechanism. Great. And one more thing we'll try, given that this is N scale or N gauge track, is that we might actually be able to run a 009 locomotive. So this is narrow gauge HO or narrow gauge 00, but it's a very small locomotive, even shorter and shorter wheelbase than the tram we just ran. So let's have a look and see what this does. Change the direction. Oh, that works pretty great. I know that you won't necessarily be able to get a long locomotive or a long piece of rolling stock around this, but something short with only 2 axles like this couple by Mini Trains. Works really, really well on this layout base. All right, now I've got the small handy layout here. So I'll just turn this on. Got your power light indicator. Put 3 AA batteries in it. That's all this requires to run, is just 3 AA's. And this is quite literally the smallest layout I've ever seen. So we'll have a look and we'll see what we can actually get to run around this. So first off, we've got our little couple, TGW locomotive. Something like this is designed to run around something this small. So let's put this on the track and we'll give it a go. There she goes. Great, now that we know that works, why don't we try something a little bit larger? So we've got our TGW diesel. That runs even better in my opinion. We could actually bring the running speed down quite a bit. All right. And of course, we've got to try our sushi train. And even that goes around really nicely. Now let's try something a bit bigger. So we'll try the N-scale Kato Hanover tram again. Has a longer wheelbase than the other items that we've run on this already. So let's see how this one goes. And that actually makes it around really smoothly. We can get a really nice low speed running with that one. And last one that we'll try the Mini Trains 040 couple steam engine in 009 narrow gauge scale. And that goes surprisingly well too. It just shows you that you can get quite a lot of locomotives and trams to get around something this tight. Well, that was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for joining me on that. Thanks for having a closer look at the new layout systems by TGW. That was a lot of fun. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.